Okay. So let's just take a moment and sink into the room. Let me make sure I've got the right mic. Oh no. Okay. All right. So let's just take a breath. And just let everything kind of come to a stop. Take the attention off of the day that you've had and shift that attention into the room around you. I see your comment, Anna. Thank you. It's my pleasure. Use this moment to anchor your hearing, anchor your vision, anchor your feeling, into what's actually present right here, right now. We've talked before about how imagery is a container for feeling. We create all these things to contain different feeling and meaning. When they're coming into birth, they start with simpler prototypes that are given a meaning. That meaning is projected by us into those prototypes, and they gain, let's say, usefulness in the story of our life. And so that usefulness evolves the meaning, and the meaning creates the next prototype, better capable of containing the meaning. It's an iterative process that goes back and forth, meaning to container, meaning to enhanced container, meaning to enhanced container, until you get all these different things filling your room. All their names, all their uses, all the separateness between their parts is created by you. Every minute of your life. You're holding it all in place with your mind. It's why silence is so restorative. When we take that burden off of ourselves, we get that energy back. That energy that we were using holding our world in place. Even deities are built this way. villages are at the whim of these elements, and they'd like to have a place in the conversation of what those elements are going to do. And so they start trying to connect with it, and then before you know it, they create an image, many images, to try and act as a container for it so that they have something they can interact with. Different implements, different qualities that best contain what they're trying to interact with. Eventually, certain images work better for that than others. And the next thing you know, you have wind gods and fire gods and different things that people can interact with to try and keep their village safe. And even those evolve more nuanced qualities of fire, aspects of the mind that are fire, aspects of the diet that are fire, aspects of illness that are fire. Different names start to contain those more nuanced iterations better, and deities grow. They grow and they change. Whole religions get built out of it. It works because consciousness permeates everything. And there's only one consciousness. But all those separations, they're you trying to understand something. They're your projections as you try and work with the infinite. Your projection creates this entire world around you. And the name of the game is evolution. Your greatest projection is yourself. Your greatest projection is this physical body and personality complex that you've given a name to, that you continue to change and shift and work on. Somewhere along the way we get trapped, though. We get trapped in that game. Because we don't understand that we're projecting it. We don't understand how much of it is up to us. How much of our life is just a product of our attention and the meaning we're assigning to what's in front of us. And so at some point we stop evolving. You know, when you're a child, you're just evolving. But at some point, we get stuck. If something really bad happens when you're a child, you can get stuck there too. And people don't grow past that age very well. But mostly around your mid-20s, maybe mid-30s nowadays, people stop growing and evolving at the same pace. They wait for a cycle of life to shock them. They wait for the birth of a child, the death of a loved one, the loss of a career, to kind of shake them awake and force them to adapt. But then the goal is to adapt to find your comfort space as quickly as possible so that you can stop evolving. But of course, as soon as you do, the energy flow stops. Because life is made for you to grow and evolve and reach and stretch until the day you die. And whenever you do, the channels in you open up so that life can flow through and support you and hold you up. And you've seen this before. You've seen it in big moments in your life where you've taken a risk. But you also see it in those small moments where you just don't feel like doing anything and you make yourself just get up and do something anyways. And then you realize that you're like, oh, you thought you were too tired, but now that you've started doing something, there's all this energy flowing through you. It's how that works. I was a massage therapist for 15 years. And if you're ever going to be too tired to do something, give someone a massage for an hour is something to be too tired to do. But I was always amazed at how as soon as I would start doing it, I'd be wide awake and filled with energy, and everything I needed was at my fingertips. So in your meaning making, as you're moving through this life, you need to keep an eye out for stuckness. Almost everybody you see is stuck. If you look around the world, go to any city and look around on the streets, and what you're going to see are people that are just living on 10% of their energy. And in truth, your body's built to do that. Your body is built to make things as energy efficient as possible, and so it pushes you towards your patterns. It pushes you towards your habits. The things you can do on automatic pilot. And that's what you've got, is you've got a bunch of people living on automatic pilot. In shamanism, we shake that up in any way we possibly can. If there's a route that you take to work every day, challenge yourself to take a slightly different route every single day. If there's a certain kind of exercise your body's gotten used to doing, make yourself cross-train. I apologize for that example. I could not be a bigger hypocrite when it comes to that. Exercise is not my thing. But I could exercise, and you know what? The energy would be there. Any little change that you make so that the meanings keep growing, so that what it means to be you keeps growing, evolving and expanding, where you do things that you're a little afraid to do. Step into things where you're worried you might get judged. Bump your head up against the wall a few times. It's not all going to be fun, and it's not all going to be easy. But it's going to keep you growing. It's going to keep you expanding. It's going to keep you younger than your age. It'll keep you healthier longer. But most importantly, and most relevant to this class, it will eventually take you out of your stuckness in this story of life that you've built. It'll wake you up to just how much control and power you have over your choices. it'll also heap a fair amount of suffering on you. And in that suffering, you'll become someone who doesn't take shit from anybody. You'll become somebody who can stand on your own 2 feet, someone who knows what they know, someone who's confident in the areas that they are claiming expertise, someone who knows their own worth. And through pursuing your own discomfort for the sake of growth, you'll become someone who can stand up to just about anything. And the beauty of that, the beauty of actually living your life, which is what we're talking about here, is that eventually you get to see all the different angles of it so that you can finally catch a glimpse of the whole picture. You can come to see what you really are, and you can stay in that space. You can watch the world around you as it spins in a bunch of unnecessary negativity and suffering. And you can just see it in the context of the big picture of life. This life that is really, it's just a learning ground. It's filled with suffering. The stakes feel very high, and that's by design. You're so much more, though, than this life. You're so much more than your death. You are so much more than these stories. And that's what you ultimately come to see. And when that happens, you can rip down a story and build another one like that. Give or take 5 years. You know, really by that point, if you're in a story that is causing you to suffer, you end up staying in the story on purpose. Because you know there's something there you need to shake awake. I'm just coming out of the other side of that with some things. Not fun, but worthwhile. Worthwhile because on the other side of that is the same freedom that, you had before you got stuck. Only now, it's just one more area you're not going to fall back into. One more type of experience that understanding is going to protect you from. You can still interact with those types of people, but you'll be interacting from a place of power. The first step is you have to wake up to the realization that everything in this room is being held up by you. Your computer is a computer because you say it's so. You could remove its name, remove all your stored knowledge of all the little things that you think it does, and it would become indistinguishable from anything else in the room. Probably not the most useful image to dissolve, but if you can dissolve that, you can dissolve a bunch of the stuck, painful stories that you have about the people around you, about the things you're afraid of, about your own impending death, even the death of a loved one. Who, of course, is just ending a series of stories to start a new series of stories. Someone who's just going back to what they actually always were. To take a little break and then maybe start dreaming again. So, I'm not sure why that's coming out tonight, but there it is. Are there any questions about any of that? If not, let's just step out of the story together. Place your attention at your forehead and crown. Be aware of everything in the room. Just let it sit there in your awareness. Slow yourself down. And without shifting your direction of view, start releasing everything you think you know about the world in front of you. Just set it free to be whatever it is. Nothing you have to figure out or hold in place. Set it free so you can be free. Take some time and do that now. One object at a time if you have to. This is your return to your divine self. What you're releasing is the story talked about in every religion. In Christianity, it's represented by a serpent in the Garden of Eden, a serpent in the tree of knowledge. That knowledge, all that meaning, that you've gotten stuck in. You're releasing it, and it actually returns you to the Garden of Eden. Show yourself that right now. Let go of what you know about everything in the room. Even your own name. Slow yourself down. Surrender your rule book. Surrender your knowledge. And be with what's left. What's left is conscious, alive, divine, and communicative. Let go of everything so that you can just be with that. That's meditation. if you just let go of your heart, let go of your gut, let your mind just be an open gate. Keep your attention awake, watching, listening, but not naming or interpreting. That part of you that's starting to cling for story, let it go. It's not time to return to it. Take a breath and just let it open back up. It's just a limitation you're trying to crawl back into. Open up every window, let it all air out. In even your lowest, darkest, or most mundane moments, the highest powers of the universe are present. You've just choked them out of your awareness with your stories, with your meanings, with your stuckness. But that stuckness, it's just a story. You can drop it all right now if you want to. And let all the light come rushing back into your body. That resonant, intelligent light. focus. Let go as deeply as you can. Let go of time. Let go of the room. Let go of the body. So that when we bring you back, we can layer some new things in. Now, from that space, I want you to just listen to what I say. In your world of stories, one of the stories that is causing you the most suffering is this idea that the stakes are always so high. There are a million ways to view this world around you. I suggest you view the world around you and all of its stories the way you view stories in a picture book that you would read to a child. They're just stories that people are living out, stories that are going to come and go by people that are going to come and go, filled with lessons, morals. And you're living out those picture book stories too. But at this point, you've seen them all. Does it have to be such a big deal? Or could it just be a story? Like a story that you would read in a child's book. People are fighting. People are egotistical. People are trying and succeeding. People are trying and failing. Does it have to be such a big deal? Were you really put on this earth to invest yourself 100% in exploring conflict with others? Even if your story is standing up for what's right, you can live that out lighter. Even if that story is growing old and dying. There are graceful storybook ways through that as well. think that's good advice for all of us. Because the stakes are just whatever you make them. Even if the stake is life and death, that's not as descriptive as you think. Everyone feels differently about death. And the people who really understand it, they aren't afraid of it at all. The stakes are and have always been what you make them. So what if we just made them like a child's picture book? A bedtime story. With villains and princesses and victors and losers, challenges and strife, wins. Just all the recycled crap you've lived over and over and over again. You can still figure out what role you want to play in it. That's not the problem. It's just where that role sits in your heart that needs to change. If you can give that a little more freedom, you'll feel more free. All right, guys. Any questions about any of that before we end for the night? You did a great job. It's really quiet. Okay. Have a good night, have a good week, and I'll see you next Thursday.